Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into the powerful lessons from Admiral William McRaven.
That's right. Many people know the viral speech, but what's really interesting is how those core ideas have, lived on and even changed.
Exactly. That central message, what starts here changes the world. It's so potent. And he frames these military lessons as something anyone can use.
Absolutely anyone. It's about tapping into that potential, regardless of where you come from.
So the mission today, what are we trying to unpack here?
Okay, so our mission really is twofold. First, dig into those original nuggets of knowledge from the speech itself, what made it connect so deeply.
Let's go core takeaways.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at how these messages, these powerful lessons have been reshaped, adapted, especially for like a whole new generation.
It's this blend, isn't it? Military discipline meets this universal wisdom.
It really is a unique combination distilled down.
Okay, let's dive in. The foundation, these 10 lessons from SEAL training. And we have to start with the most famous one, right? Making your bed.
It seems almost.
Yeah.
Ridiculously simple, doesn't it? But it was the very first task every single morning.
Walk us through it. What did that actually involve in SEAL training?
Well, every morning you had these instructors, seasoned combat vets, inspecting every bed, and they were meticulous.
Like how meticulous?
Absolute perfection, square corners, covers pulled incredibly tight, the pillow centered just right, the extra blanket folded perfectly at the foot.
For guys training to be elite warriors, that must have seemed kind of beside the point.
Oh, absolutely. It felt absurd to many. But McRaven points out the real wisdom behind it.
So what was the deeper meaning? What was the takeaway from getting that seemingly small thing perfect?
The core idea was if you make your bed perfectly, you've done the first task of the day right. That gives you a small sense of pride.
Okay, little boost.
Exactly, and that little boost actually encourages you to tackle the next task, and the one after that, it sort of snowballs.
So the little things matter.
Hugely. It reinforces that. If you can't do the little things right, you'll struggle with the bigger ones.
And there's another part to it too, wasn't there? About the end of the day.
Yes. Even if you had a totally miserable day, just awful, you'd come back to a bed that you made. A perfect bed.
A small bit of order in the chaos.
Right. A little bit of encouragement, maybe. A sign that tomorrow could be better. So, the first step to changing the world, start by making your bed.
It's simple, but it really lands. Okay, so from that individual discipline, where does the training go next? It shifts pretty quickly, right?
It does, immediately to collaboration, to the idea that you can't do it alone.
The boat crews. Tell us about those.
Right, the boat crews. So picture this. 7 students in a small rubber boat, 3 paddling on each side, 1 coxswain steering and calling the count.
And they had to face some rough conditions.
Oh, yeah. Every day, paddling miles, often through really brutal surf off San Diego, sometimes 8-10 feet high in the winter.
Wow. How did they manage that?
The only way through that heavy surf was if everyone, absolutely everyone, paddled in sync with equal effort, following the coxswain's count.
What happened if they didn't?
If even one person slacked off or the timing was off, the boat would get turned sideways by a wave.
And back to the beach you go.
Unceremoniously dumped right back where you started. It's a very clear metaphor.
So, the lesson?
You can't change the world alone. Simple as that. You need help. You need friends, colleagues, good leaders, people paddling with you. Find someone to help you paddle.
That makes sense. And thinking about who helps you paddle, McRaven tells a great story about not judging by appearances. The Munchkin crew.
Yes, the Munchkin crew, fantastic story. So his class started with 150 men, but by then they were down to about 42, split into 6 boat crews.
And his crew had the tall guys.
Yeah, he was with the bigger guys, but the best crew, the one that consistently won, the Munchkin crew.
And they were.
All small guys. No one over 5'5".
Seriously. How did they compare in the actual challenges?
They were incredible. A really diverse group. American Indian, African American, Polish American, Greek American, Italian American, 2 guys from the Midwest, and they just dominated.
Dominated how?
They out-paddled everyone, outran everyone, out-swam everyone, all the other crews.
Even though people made fun of them. I think he mentions the flippers.
Oh yeah, good-natured teasing before every swim about their tiny little flippers. But the Munchkins always got the last laugh, swimming faster, hitting the beach first.
So what did that prove in the context of SEAL training?
It showed that SEAL training was, in a way, a great equalizer. Your background, your size, none of that mattered as much as your will to succeed, your heart.
The lesson for changing the world.
Measure people by the size of their heart, not the size of their flippers. Look past the surface.
Powerful stuff. Okay, sticking with overcoming challenges, the training didn't shy away from failure, did it? Even unavoidable failure. Tell us about this sugar cookie.
Ah, the sugar cookie drill. Yes. Several times a week, you'd have these incredibly intense uniform inspections.
And you had to be perfect.
You tried to be.
Yeah.
Starching your hat, pressing the uniform, polishing the buckle. But it was never good enough. The instructors always found something wrong.
Always. What was the point of that?
The point was the consequence. If they found fault, you had to run, fully clothed, into the cold surf, then immediately roll around on the beach until you were covered head to toe in sand.
Like a sugar cookie.
Exactly. And you stayed cold, wet, and sandy for the rest of the day.
That sounds miserable. How did people react?
Well, a lot of guys couldn't handle it. They couldn't accept that their best efforts seemed pointless, unappreciated.
They didn't get the lesson.
They didn't get that they were never going to have a perfect uniform in the instructor's eyes. That wasn't the goal. The lesson was, sometimes, no matter how well you prepare, how well you perform, you still end up as a sugar cookie.
Life isn't always fair.
That's just the way it is sometimes. So if you want to change the world, you have to get over being a sugar cookie sometimes. Just keep moving forward.
Okay, so accept setbacks. But there was more, right? The circuses. What were they?
Right. The circuses. So every day had physical tests with set standards. If you failed an event.
Your name went on a list.
Yep. A list posted for everyone to see. And if your name was on the list, at the end of the day, you got invited to a circus.
Which was?
2 extra hours of intense calisthenics. Push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, flutter kicks. Just designed to wear you down.
To break your spirit.
That was the intent, yeah.
Yeah.
Make you want to quit. Nobody wanted to go to the circus. It meant more pain, more fatigue, making the next day even harder.
Did everyone end up there eventually?
Yeah. Pretty much everyone made the circus list at some point. But here's the interesting part.
What happened?
The guys who were on the list consistently, the ones doing those extra 2 hours of PT almost every day, they actually got stronger.
Physically stronger.
Physically, yes, but also mentally. It built this incredible inner strength, this resilience. The pain actually forged them.
So the lesson there is?
Life is full of circuses. You will fail. Probably often. It's going to hurt. It's going to be discouraging.
Okay.
But don't be afraid of the circuses. They can make you stronger.
Embrace the suck, basically. Okay, so from failure to facing fear and taking risks. The obstacle course sounds intense. The slide for life.
Yeah, the obstacle course had like 25 obstacles. But the slide for life was the signature challenge. A 200-foot rope between a 30-foot tower and a lower one.
How did you normally do it?
You'd climb the tower, grab the rope, swing underneath, and go hand over hand across, standard stuff. And the record time had stood for years. So one day, a student decided to go head first.
Head first, down the rope.
Yep. Instead of safely underneath, he mounted the top of the rope, like balancing on it, and just launched himself forward head first.
That sounds incredibly dangerous.
Oh, it was. Super risky. Could have easily fallen, gotten seriously injured, kicked out of training, but he did it without hesitation, slid down incredibly fast.
And the result?
He smashed the record, cut the time in half.
Wow. So the takeaway?
Sometimes, if you want to change the world or just overcome a big obstacle, you have to take a risk. You might have to slide down head first.
Calculated risk, I guess. Now, speaking of fear, sharks. Seriously?
Oh, yes, sharks. During the land warfare part, they fly you to San Clemente Island, which just happens to be a breeding ground for great whites and other sharks.
And they make you swim there
Right.
at night.
Yep. There's a required night swim. And before you go in, the instructors kind of gleefully brief you on all the types of sharks in the area.
That's reassuring.
They joke, no student has ever been eaten by a shark that we can remember. Dark humor.
So what was the actual instruction? If you see a shark...
They taught you, if a shark starts circling you, or worse, darts right at you, you have to stand your ground.
Don't swim away.
Do not swim away. Don't act scared. And if it comes straight for you, like it's deciding on a midnight snack,
Yeah.
summon up all your courage, all your strength, and punch it right in the snout.
Punch a shark in the snout. Does that work?
Apparently, yes. It'll usually turn and swim off. So the life lesson is clear. You're going to face sharks, big, scary challenges or threats.
What do you do?
Don't back down. Confront them head on.
Okay. Punch the shark. Got it. That leads kind of naturally into the next idea, finding your best self in the absolutely hardest moments. The ship attack mission.
Exactly. A core SEAL task is underwater attacks on enemy ships. They practice this a lot, It involves a pair of divers being dropped off miles from a harbor.
And they have to swim underwater to the target.
Right. Maybe 2 miles or more. Just using a depth gauge and a compass, it's disorienting.
I bet. What happens when they actually get to the ship?
Well, during the swim, even underwater, there's usually a little bit of ambient light filtering down, but as you get close to the ship tied up at a pier, that light disappears.
Why is that?
The huge steel hull blocks everything, moonlight, pier lights, everything. It gets completely dark.
And their objective is under the ship.
Yes, to succeed, you have to swim right underneath the ship and find the keel of the center line. That's the objective point. And it is the absolute darkest, most confusing place.
Dark and noisy too, right?
Deafeningly noisy from the ship's machinery. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It's incredibly easy to get disoriented, to fail the mission right there.
So what does a SEAL need in that moment?
Every SEAL knows. Under the keel, in that darkest moment, that's when you have to be your absolute calmest, most composed. You need all your skills, all your strength, all your focus.
Oh, for changing the world?
You have to be your very best in the darkest moments. When things are toughest, that's when you need to find that peak performance within yourself.
That's a profound image. And speaking of dark moments, maybe the most moving lesson is about hope. From Hell Week, in the mud flats.
Hell Week. And yes, the mud flats, a truly miserable experience. It's this swampy area between San Diego and Tijuana. Freezing cold mud.
And they were ordered in there.
Yeah. On Wednesday night of Hell Week, McRaven's class messed up somehow, committed some egregious infraction, and the punishment was 15 hours in the mud flats.
15 hours in freezing mud.
Yes. The mud just consumes you, up to your neck, basically. It was freezing, the wind was howling, and the instructors were just constantly yelling, pressuring them to quit.
That sounds like pure torture. What happened?
At one point, with hours still to go until sunrise, the instructors offered a deal. If just 5 guys quit, right then, everyone else could get out of the mud.
Tempting, I imagine.
Extremely. You could see guys were shivering violently, teeth chattering, some clearly about to break. The moaning was so loud it was hard to hear. And then one voice started singing. Just one guy, terribly out of tune, but singing with like real enthusiasm.
Singing in that situation.
Yeah. Then another voice joined in, then another. Pretty soon the whole class was singing.
What did the instructors do?
They yelled, threatened them with more time in the mud if they didn't shut up, but they kept singing.
And did it help?
McRaven says it did. Somehow the mud felt a bit warmer. The wind didn't seem quite as harsh. Dawn felt a little closer. It just shows the incredible power of hope. And often it just takes one person to spark it. He mentions leaders like Washington, Lincoln, King, Mandela, even Malala. One person giving hope can change everything.
So the lesson is,
if you want to change the world, start singing when you're up to your neck in mud. Find that hope and share it.
incredible. Okay, that leads to the final lesson from SEAL training. The ultimate test of persistence. There's a bell.
That's right, the brass bell. It hangs right in the center of the training compound where everyone can see it.
And what's its significance?
It's simple. If you want to quit training, all you have to do is go ring that bell.
Just ring the bell and you're out.
Ring the bell and no more 5 a.m. wake-ups, no more freezing swims, no more brutal runs, no more obstacle course, no more circuses. All the hardship ends. Just ring the bell.
It must be tempting.
Constantly tempting, especially when you're exhausted, miserable, pushed to your limit.
So what does that bell represent in the bigger picture?
It represents giving up, quitting when things get tough. And the final ultimate message McRaven shares is about that resolve.
Which is?
If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell. Never quit.
It ties everything together, doesn't it?
Really does. Start the day right, get help, judge by heart, accept unfairness, learn from failure, take risks, face fears, be your best when it's darkest, spread hope, and never, ever give up.
Do those things.
And McRaven believes you can change the world and maybe make it better for the next generation too.
And that message from that 2014 speech, it just exploded, didn't it? Viral views, the bestseller.
Absolutely. Millions of views. #1 New York Times bestseller with Make Your Bed. The impact was huge.
But that wasn't the end of the story for these lessons, was it? What's happened since? How have they sort of evolved?
Well, that's the really interesting next chapter. The lessons proved so enduring that it led to a collaboration. Admiral McRaven actually teamed up with his daughter, Kelly.
His daughter. To do what?
To write a children's book. It's called Be a Hero with Skipper the Seal. And it's basically an adaptation of his adult book, The Hero Code.
Wow, taking these ideas to kids, he must have enjoyed that project.
He said it was probably the best thing you could have as a father, and he gives Kelly a lot of credit, says she did the bulk of the work.
So how do you translate concepts born in SEAL training for, 5-year-olds? What's the core message for them?
Their main goal, they say, is for kids to get that being a hero isn't about your job or how big or small you are. Anyone can be a hero in their everyday life.
How do they define hero for kids?
They used a simple definition based on Webster's. Basically, someone we admire for their noble qualities. Things like honesty, integrity, forgiveness.
Noble qualities, how did they make those concrete for a young audience?
Through animal characters, which is brilliant, right? So you have the courageous cat, the giving gorilla, and Kelly's favorite, apparently, is the forgiving frog.
The forgiving frog?
Yeah.
What lesson does that teach?
It's actually a really clever adaptation of the sugar cookie lesson. It teaches kids about dealing with unfairness, being covered in sand, metaphorically, but focusing on processing it, maybe through forgiveness, instead of just tucking it out. It's about emotional resilience.
That's a really thoughtful evolution of the original idea. And Kelly's perspective, growing up in that environment, must have been key.
Absolutely. She talks about watching heroes every day on military bases, not just her dad, but everyone, showing kindness, generosity, dedication.
So the values were just normal life for her.
Pretty much. She said when her dad's speech went viral, she was initially stunned, but it also made sense because they were like the little speeches before bed at night she always heard. They felt familiar, validated.
That's great. So is this a one-off book, or are there more Skipper the SEAL adventures coming?
Oh, they definitely plan more. They want to keep sharing these value-based values, things they see as universal, timeless, good for anyone, anywhere.
Passing the torch, in a way.
Yeah, they talk about a shared passion for educating that next generation, keeping these positive principles alive.
It's fascinating. And McRaven himself, his reflection on it all, that more people thank him for Make Your Bed than for his military service.
And he's okay with that. It just underscores how deeply these fundamental life lessons can resonate when they're shared clearly and authentically.
Yeah, it really does. It shows that sometimes the simplest truths, maybe learned the hard way, are the most powerful.
Exactly. Profound wisdom often comes from lived experience, distilled down.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've gone from the intense crucible of SEAL training through these 10 really resonant life lessons and seen how they've been translated for kids. It's quite a journey.
It really is, and it reinforces those core themes. Small steps matter, you need others, resilience is crucial, hope is powerful, all leading towards making a real impact.
So for everyone listening, maybe take a moment. Think about which of these lessons hits home for you right now. What's your make the bed task today? What's your darkest moment where you need to be your best? Or maybe, who needs you to start singing when they're in the mud?
Good questions to ponder.
Because those small acts, that mindset, McRaven's point is they really can start to change your world and maybe, just maybe, the wider world too,